Welcome back to World Wide Wade Goes West. I'm here today in Rochester, New York, the home of Eastman Kodak, the Rochester Institute of Technology, and lots of other famous places on the technology map. I'm pleased to introduce you in just a second to David Cook, an IT consultant, programmer, and sort of jack of all trades, who's got some really interesting stories and perspectives to share about how technology fits into his life.
My name is David Cook. I got a degree in forestry back in the mid-70s. Actually, my first professional job was as a computer programmer working for a telecommunications company. I've never worked in forestry. And that sort of led me along the programming and IT path. So that I did that. I worked for an economics consulting firm in Boston where I ran their small IT department. I've basically been around playing with computers since punch cards and time sharing. So that sort of dates me.
So what does cloud computing mean to you?
When I first heard the term, I thought, the hell are they talking about? My own interpretation finally has been that in its worst case, it's a return to the bad old days of time-sharing systems, where essentially you're sharing out applications that are located at somebody else's site, like, you know, Google's going to let you rent the use of their word processor. That version of cloud computing, I think, is totally superfluous, and I can't imagine why anybody would want it. I mean, you have no security, especially if you want to write stuff that may in fact be anti-governmental or whatever. Who wants to store their documents on Google's server if they're going to do that? I mean, the PC is a printing press. It gives us a democratic freedom that, you know, is better and more complete than we've ever had in history. Not only can we print our own documents and write our own documents, we can distribute them easily. So that's one thing I don't like about it. But there are other uses for it that I think are quite interesting, which is collaborative working. The kind of thing that Lotus envisioned when they came out with what they called groupware. And the time hadn't really come for groupware yet, and it wasn't really that big a thing. I think now, with having people all connected to the web, you really do have the potential for collaborative work through the cloud.
What's your impression about the climate here for business right now?
Rochester's a funny place in that there's a lot of technical sophistication here. I mean, you've got some good universities, Rochester Institute of Technology among them, yet you have the sense of a city that's seen much better days. A lot of people here used to work for Kodak, so many people know about Kodak. And a friend of mine said that in its heyday, Kodak had 67,000 employees, and now they have 9,000 employees. The business climate here seems like things that used to happen but don't happen anymore. The job market's, as far as I can tell, not very good here, and yet there is new innovation happening. There was a technological article in the newspaper the other day about, I think, a venture capital firm in England which is giving money for a new startup, technological startup in Rochester, and they said because of its unique qualities. GM has a very interesting project here for fuel cell development, I think it is. So there's stuff happening. But it's definitely not Silicon Valley.
We're here at majestic Niagara Falls, on our way from Rochester, New York, to our ultimate destination of San Francisco. If you listen to people like David Cook, the future of cloud computing and other technologies may still be a little bit misty.